Recently, upcoming Extreme Demon Ascension to Heaven has come under fire for supposedly being too homogenous. So, are these people right? Does the level's consistency and style make it boring? The reason why some in the community dislike what has been showcased of ATH thus far is how interchangeable the parts are with each other, with the entire preview being made of the same heaven-themed realistic deco the whole way through. Many parts are almost indistinguishable from each other as they all consist of similar looking buildings and pillars, as well as clouds, waterfalls, and greenery. This has given the impression that the builders simply copied off of one another, leading to complaints that the whole thing looks like it was made by one person. People have taken issue with the fact that Ascension to Heaven has heaven-themed deco all the way through, saying they find it boring when an entire level maintains consistency, and that ATH's consistency is making the demon more and more stale in creativity as it drags on. The proposed solution is that, rather than copy and pasting the same deco style throughout an entire 5-minute plus level, the creators should experiment by adding some different themes into the mix in order to spice things up. Players hypothesize that the more variation there is within a level's decoration, the more fun it will be, and the less likely you are to get bored with it. The problem with this theory is that adding a bunch of random stuff into a level like Ascension to Heaven with no rhyme or reason as to why will detract from how interesting its concept is, not add to it. Consistency doesn't make a level boring, and lack of consistency doesn't make a level interesting. What makes a level good is how well it executes a theme and how consistent said theme is. The theme of Ascension to Heaven is, well, an ascension to heaven, where the player has to face a multitude of trials at different locations within heaven in order to secure their place there in the afterlife. It doesn't make sense to throw in unrelated styles because there's no justification for them being there in the theme. ATH does a great job at sticking to its guns, as each part is not only heaven-themed, but also matches the look of the individual trial or chapter it's been allocated to. This isn't copy and paste, this is a well-executed theme, and a well-executed theme is far more interesting than a thoughtless mix and match of decoration styles which don't belong in the same level. Mixing together themes willy-nilly won't make any level more interesting. It'll just make a mess. Extreme demons like Limbo and Cybernetic Crescent either couldn't decide on a theme or often deviated from it, and the result is always a series of sections that are great individually, but way out of place among their neighbors and don't blend well into the same level. If you find my commentary on Ascension to Heaven interesting, I've got loads of other videos discussing extreme demons and other cool levels. Consider subscribing for weekly uploads covering all sorts of GD topics, and if you'd like to discuss them with me, you can do so in my Discord server, link in the description. Now back to the video. Another good example of a mega collab that tried to make variety work is Free For All by More. Everyone who wanted to join the CC was told to build whatever they wanted, and each part was decided by whichever entry for said part looked better than the others. As host Penato put it, the finished product was atrocious. That being said, can you build a great level and include more than one style? Yes, as long as the theme gives a reason for that style to be there. It's all about whether or not you follow the theme. Ascension to Heaven does an amazing job at following its theme. There have been so many mega collabs in the past that were plagued by the imperfections that they've now become infamous for, but ATH has succeeded where so many before it have failed. First of all, it doesn't have an overused decoration style such as glow or hell, which is already a win. It's also super cohesive. Every creator involved in the project has built a section that reflects the theme and fits in with the area of heaven that the chapter takes place in, and the demon maintains a high and consistent standard of quality in every part, or at least every finished part. Of course, there's the argument that this makes Ascension to Heaven boring due to interchangeable parts, and that would make sense if it were true. However, not every part looks exactly the same. They didn't just build one section and use the exact same designs for the rest of the level. The whole demon is built around the scenery changing as you progress through the trials. Ascension has the player traversing in the sky, with some structures and a whole lot of clouds. Then, as it gets closer to the first trial, some greenery is introduced and there are far more of these structures. The Maze of Gods is mostly outdoors with mountains, rocks, and a lot of vegetation, though there are still plenty of pillars and whatnot. The ruins looks like an ancient abandoned city that's been reclaimed by nature, with overgrown foliage and cracked buildings that probably haven't been maintained in centuries. We've yet to see what the other trials have in store for us, but the parts so far have been anything but repetitive. ATH's logical progression and consistency are what make it a better extreme demon than others such as Limbo, whose decoration varies wildly from part to part. Despite this, I still really like Limbo and think it's one of the best top 10s of all time. The video on screen will explain why. Be sure to let me know in the comments whether or not you think Ascension to Heaven's parts are too similar, and as always, thanks for watching.